One of the things that is important when you travel like I do, I stay in places for 3, 4, 5 months. I don't hop all around Mexico. Is I want a place that's reasonable in cost, that has a little kitchen in it, that is roomy, and that's not expensive, and that has good owners who'll take care of you. You can get into some horror shows in Mexico, especially with gringo absentee owners. I mean, Mexican owners are always pretty good. These are the two owners. I can't say more about them. Guadalupe, the husband, and Blanca, the wife, who run this apartment hotel. And I'm going to take you through it on all kinds of levels. I'm going to take a little walk up to my apartment. I chose the apartment way on top because it has a very big terrace, which I like to come out and drink my coffee in the morning and feed the birds. And the steps are very small, so it's not hard. I'm a big guy. I'm about 260 pounds, and I'm 75 years old, so that these steps are entirely manageable. And I wanted the breezes because I'm going to be here during the hot months of late March and April, so I know how hot it gets here. And I wanted to be up where I had plenty of exposure. They have huge windows that let in those breezes. This is one of the cruise ships that come in every day. Sometimes they kind of blot out the entire sky when they get closer to the waterfront. That's how close you are to the waterfront, by the way. And here's a little view from my terrace looking down. I like to have coffee here and look at the people going to work. It makes me feel good. You have to work. I worked all my life, but this is the stage where I'm kind of sliding downhill, and I love it. Anyway, this is the street that leads down. There's a big expensive condo across the way, and this is where people park their motor scooters. I go by foot because this is a very well located hotel, and you get anything you need within 2 or 3 blocks, 4 blocks walking distance, which I'll show you soon. Anyway, I'm going to take you outside now. This is the entrance I come in. There are 3 entrances because it consists of a number of different units, and this is the outside wall. That was the entrance I come in to get to the 3-story unit, and I'm going to show you soon. This is the entrance that goes into the 1-story unit. Part of it fronts the street, and part of it fronts the pool in the back, which I'll show you in a second. So everybody has their separate entrance, so to speak. And this is the 3rd entrance, where there's a nice parking lot for you to park your car or to park your scooter, and you can rent scooters from them too. They're very, very obliging, and they want to please you, which is the mark of a good landlord. And it's over the months, as you stay here, you get to like these people more and more. They're just wonderful. Anything you need, they take care of. They have that kind of genial disposition. This is the pathway between the 1-story unit and the 3-story unit. It leads to this beautiful little small pool that's always icy cold. And if you're here during the hot months, they'll start in mid-March here, when they're really hot. This pool will bring you back to life. I don't know whether it comes from an artesian well or not, but it is cold. And you get used to it after you're in it for a while, but it just really makes you a new person. This is the 3rd unit. These are 2-story units, and they're all the same. They're all 1 bedroom with a kitchen. Some are slightly larger than the others, and there's a nice big bathroom too. That's what I like about these. If you want to see more information, just go to their webpage. It's very good for rental rates and plans. You can rent by the month, the week, the day if you want to, if you're here in town for a day. They're very obliging, and the apartments are very clean, and they have a maid. You can schedule her to come in whenever you want to, and things like that. This is the pool area, and as you see, the back of all of the units, whether they're 3-story or 2-story or 1-story, all look back on the pool, and it's a kind of very informal gathering place. The people who stay in this, I found, since this was my first year here, and I was recommended to this place by Mark Meisner, a painter who I know in Florida, who has stayed here. He says that they're just the best people, period. You have to stay there. The people who come to stay here are extremely interesting. They're either artists or singers or musicians, or they're people who have unusual interests. These 2 people up here, I happen to catch them, David and Sharon Lund, run an orphanage in Nepal. It's a labor of love. It's work, but they do that. And they come here generally before they go over there. They're from Michigan, And here they are. They're very active. I can't believe how active they are. But they have their little motor scooter. They're just slightly younger than me, but they're a lot more active, and they're kind of buzzing out on their little routines, which a lot of people like to do that. I'm a walker, and I tend to fall off things too. So if it's not a boat, don't talk to me about it. This looks towards the Mexican end of it, where you get away from the tourist section. It's very nice, and this is looking towards the bay, which is of course the tourist section. Although this end of Cozumel, which is the north end, is very untouristy. As you get towards the southern end, when you make a left at the waterfront there, you'll see all of the shops for diamond and gold and things like that, and trinkets, and God, whatever you want, they're going to sell you. And it's a bit of a bazaar, if you know what I mean. This is very safe, this area, and there's a young policeman stationed at every corner. Although the Mayans themselves are extremely peaceful. All throughout the Yucatan is the most peaceful state in there. There's one of the big ships. That's the second one, just came in between the time I showed you the first one and this one. And that was a Mickey Mouse ship, by the way. And here I'm just showing you the waterfront. You can swim in this water. You have to walk out on kind of flat coral rocks, and it's, for somebody my weight, I tried it once, it's a little slippery. And I'd rather go down to the beach. It's a short way down the way. You take a cab there, or you have a friend with a car, you go down there. It's a little bit too much of a walk. But I'm going to take you on a little walk on the waterfront. They sometimes call us the Malican. That's the way it's termed in the Latin countries, because things can go bad there. And these are some of the homes on the waterfront. These are all private homes. And then it turns into, and here is some of the greenery. This is a series of the government buildings, and I always liked them because they're always kept nice and neat and trim. This is the pilot's house for the pilots who have to bring the boats in and out. You know, they have one in Tampa too, but they don't live as good as this. And this is the harbor master, the captain of the port, the Mexican flag, and here's the office where you go to visit him. So they're nice, pleasant buildings to pass, and being an old sailor, I'm familiar with those, and I like to see them. This is a little statue to the soldier who stayed in Cozumel, was the first Spaniard here and married, and here's the little grocery store at the end of that walk. So that walk is about a 4-block walk from the apartments. I'm going to show you some treats here. One, Blanca and Guadalupe have 2 daughters. You'll hear their voices now. Your Pavarotti had heard them. He used to winter here before he died, and heard their voices at church, and just immediately took them under his tutelage because they were so extraordinary. They only sing in church, and in this particular mass, they are the entire choir, plus a piano player. So it lasts about a minute. Sit back and have a listen. Every morning when I wake up, I go out and I feed my 2 pigeons who roost in this tree across the street, and as soon as they hear Puccini playing, I always play Puccini in the morning to wake up, they come flying over, and I'm out there in a little chair, and I have my coffee and a nice sweet Mexican roll, and I break off a piece and I feed it to them. And I call them Peter and Paul because they're always robbing one another. The old adage, rob Peter to pay Paul. I was training them this day to come close to me. They're very wary, like all pigeons. And I've speeded this up a bit. They're not quite that quick because they're kind of funny the way they kind of peck and hunt. And I thought about having them peck out of my hand, but after I saw them peck the cement, I didn't want my hand to go close to them. But anyway, they're great company in the morning. They're very choosy. They like the sweet rolls, and then they take off.